Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth.
Thank you all so much for having me today. I am going to kind of fly through the content. I've given this presentation a few times for real estate investors, but I'm actually have added a special section specifically for the realtors. So I'm going to kind of fly through the real estate investing part of it. Some of it you might know, some of it might be new information, but I'll fly through it. And then whatever you guys want to circle back to, we can always circle back to, but I want to kind of get as much information out there for you as quickly as possible and then go back to the key points that you want to drill down on. My name is Brooke Robertson, and I started out investing in real estate. This says 2012, but that's when I went full time. My first house that I bought as an investment, I was 22 years old. So that was forever ago. So I spent a while investing in real estate. Started in 2012 full-time, left my corporate job, and I invested in real estate, flipping houses primarily, some rentals, some short-term rentals. I was actually the second short-term rental in all of Richmond, so with my Airbnb. So have been doing that for a while. In 2018, I was getting so many bidding wars leading up to that. The realtors kept coming up to me and saying, hey, my client loves your house. They love your style, but we're one of 18 offers and they didn't get it. There's no way they could withstand a bidding war. So if I find them a fixer upper, would you come do this for them? And so I got into designing for other people and have been doing that since 2018. In doing so, I realized that there's a huge hole in the market for affordable design. There's just nobody supporting these real estate investors, especially the ones that are newer to the game and maybe don't know how to design a kitchen or a bathroom, or they don't know building code and stuff like that. So I've just in the past year launched a business called Designs Delivered. And our goal is to offer affordable interior design to real estate investors or homeowners, basically anyone on a budget. So we figured out a way to change the scale of interior designer to client from 1-to-1 to 1 to the multitude, which allows us to keep our prices lower and do the design once, but potentially sell it all over the country over and over. So I'm going to walk you through real quick some of my tips and tricks that you can share with your clients, your investors. Some of you might even be your own real estate investors. And then I'm going to talk to you about different things I do. Don't hate me. I do usually FSBO, just because after a few years, I realized on the negotiation side, I had an easier time working directly with the buyer's agent than I did going through seller's agents. I just didn't land on the exact right one here. But I have a lot of FSBO tricks that you guys can apply to your own real estate businesses as well. So does anyone have any questions before I jump in? Okay, so the first thing that I'm looking for when I look for a flip house, there's a few things I do in the very beginning when I buy an investment property. The first one is I look for forced appreciation. I'm sure you guys know what that is, but for those of you who might not have heard this term before, it's when you find unfinished space and make it finished. So you finish it off in order to increase the property value of the home. It doesn't even necessarily need to be like a bathroom or a kitchen or an additional useful room, but just adding that extra square footage is one of the very first things I'm looking for as an investor for low-hanging fruit to really improve the value. One of the things I typically focus on as soon as I'm buying that house, I'm starting with who is the client? What age bracket are they in? Are they married? Do they have kids? Why do they want this area? And I start with that, and then I design the house around that. So for example, just a few years ago, I had to decide, I was out of my budget to do both, and I had to decide whether to create like an off-street parking pad in the back or to add another half bath. And I went back and forth for a while. It was on a busy street, but it was in a great school district. And so I decided that the right choice to make was to add the off-street parking behind the house, because no family would want to pull up on this busy street and unload their kids. It was a 4-bedroom house, so they needed somewhere to unload the multiple kids without them running in the street and stuff. So I always start with, who's my buyer? What are they looking for? What are their must-haves? And then one of the things that I really do try and do is check every box I possibly can. So walk-in closets, bar seating, an ensuite bathroom. Like, I try and find a work from home office space. I try to look at the house and figure out how I can check as many boxes as possible all at once. And another thing that I do when I'm planning my layouts is that I think backwards. So when I'm actually designing a house, I don't start with how to lay out the house. I walk through the house and look for, where is the bed going to go? Where's the couch going to go? How often do y'all go tour houses and you like go to open a door and the light switch is all the way behind the door, or there's nowhere to put a bed? Like, these are all very basic elements of design, but so many people who are flipping houses and doing rentals, renovating rentals and stuff miss this. So these are things that you can help your clients with as you're, if they're getting ready to renovate and stuff, making them think about these things that if they're not used to doing it, they might not think about. And then one of my goals is always to have at least one wow factor in every room. That's kind of something you guys probably already know, but if there isn't already a wow factor, I will go ahead and add one. Now, one of the things that I did when I first started flipping was I followed those rules that are like tan walls. Back then it was tan, then it was gray, now it's back to cream, but tan walls, white subway tile. I kept it as basic as possible and vanilla. And it wasn't until I bought actually the house that was in the last slide, it was this one. This was the strangest split level, where the split level was actually on the back of the house. But it was such a strange layout. It was really cool after I was done with it. When I bought it, it was all choppy and everything was in its own room. But it was such a strange house that I knew that that vanilla design wouldn't work. Like, it would just feel like an awkward house. So I really had to give it a lot of personality. And man, as soon as I did that on this one house, my profit margin jumped up to 6 figures, and I have not looked back. Every single house I've done since then, I've actually added personality, not taken it away. But I've done it intentionally and with design, trying to really insert design. And I literally have probably flipped maybe somewhere between 14 and 18 houses since I did this one. And every single one, I've had 6 figures and multiple offers. Even in this slower period, my most recent one was in December, I believe I sold it. And in the slower period, I had 3 offers on my house because I put that little extra in it. And it doesn't have to be expensive to create a wow factor. It's actually fairly easy if you know what you're doing. You just need to use affordable items in a cool way, if that makes sense. And I'll show you how I do that in just a minute. So some of the reasons why stand out. So I always want to have multiple offers because for me, it helps negotiate everything down the road. By the time I'm done a flip, I don't want to talk about inspections. I don't want to fight appraisals. Like, I want to be done. And so being able to add extra personality and then know that when I get that offer, I'm done, it really is helpful for me in my mental space, but it also helps me get out of having to spend more money and time on repairs or potentially have the deal fall through because an appraisal didn't appraise or something like that. So I am flying through these, but if y'all have any questions, feel free to jump in. So I'm going to show you a property that I did, gosh, probably right before COVID. And this was the master ensuite. Yes.
Hey, Brooke, sorry, that the picture of the kitchen with that counter looked like a wood overlay That was
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Did you find that somewhere, or how did somebody
No,
make it for you?
I designed that. So this was
Really?
a slab that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace, and I actually had my carpenter, he kind of engineered it for me. We just put a gosh, I forget what the material was, but it was basically a white piece of wood going up the side so that the wood had somewhere to lay on. And then we mitered this edge. And then down here by the sink, it actually dead ends into a countertop. And this was what you saw when you walked through the front door. So I really wanted it to be a wow
Yeah.
moment. And I
Yeah.
was trying to lead into that like mid-century modern organic, like this was some of the things I did to this house in order to give it a little more flair and make the strange layout seem cool, not strange.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Wow, indeed. When I saw that, thank you, Gary, for jumping ahead of me and asking that question because I want that kitchen.
nice. This one is a primary ensuite. I needed to make it really wow. This was on a main street. This house was not going to sell quickly or easily. And so I really needed to turn everything up. So this is, oh, sorry. So looking
Oh,
at this, we've got dark, we've got no storage, no natural light. This is actually like a metal shower surround. So on this one, I pulled out all my tricks, and that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I use so many of the things that I use in design to make things better. So the first one is, you'll probably notice these joists. These are actually the ceiling rafters. I didn't add these. So what we did was, in order to create a little bit more visible space, a little bit more height within the bathroom, is we did furring strips further up the joists, and then you insert the drywall or install the drywall attaching to those furring strips or nailers on the inside of the joist, and then stain the joist so that they feel like beam. It adds a lot of extra personality and makes it feel like an original detail that wasn't there but seems like it could have been. And then another thing we did here, we needed to add storage, but as y'all probably saw, there wasn't really anywhere to add storage. So we bumped the knee wall back. We got this dresser from like an antique store or Craigslist or something like that. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was like $25 or $30. And so we kicked the knee wall back a little bit. We added the counter space that was originally missing. With code, the way that this was laid out, there wasn't really a good place to put a big vanity. And as the primary ensuite, you know, mom's getting ready for work, she's putting on makeup. You need counter space and a place to set down your curling iron and stuff like that. So I wanted to create a good amount of counter space. So we just kicked the knee wall back a little bit and built in this dresser. And then we added this skylight. Now, this is something crazy that you guys should be advising your people on when they need to add more natural light. It looks like there's two skylights in here, right? This just one. It's one skylight right here, but because of the glass will refract the light, it will increase it. So if they have a really dark, dingy bathroom, but they need a little bit of natural light, spending a couple $100 on the glass surround will really help the light. As long as the tile behind it is nice or the wall behind it is nice, it really does help bounce the light around the room and gives you a little bit more reflective, natural light. That was another thing we did. Now, one thing, I wanted to keep the budget down. We all know glass surrounds and showers can be really expensive. So one of the tricks I did here is, instead of just getting a custom glass surround, we actually built out this wall. Can y'all see my pointer? So
Yeah.
we built out this wall to create almost like a curb on the wall. So our quote for this custom surround was $3,200. And I ended up just building out this wall to fit a Wayfair surround that was 600 and change. So for under 700 bucks, I was able to give it the feel of a custom shower just by building the shower to fit the glass instead of trying to get custom glass to fit the shower. So this is a 30 by 30 glass surround. It's not huge. And I wanted to maximize the size of the shower as much as possible. So we built this wall out to accommodate a non-custom glass. And then here,
also,
sorry, go ahead.
it also makes the bathroom look a lot bigger because it's all open now, you know?
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. And then this is something else I do often. I'll do this in both showers and near floating vanities or any vanities that don't have a ton of countertop, is you just add a 2x4 half wall. It's kind of like a pony wall, but you add that and add a little ledge and you've got another place to set your items that makes it not feel like you're so limited on counter space. And then it also gives it a little bit more of a custom flair. Like it's really about making these houses feel like they were custom and not builder grade, same as the house down the street. So that's another trick that we've used. Do y'all have any questions? Sorry, I know I'm flying, but there's a lot to cover.
Yeah, that's okay. I just want everybody to, always like to save the best things for last, but I just want to tell you guys, you can connect Brooke with your clients, okay?
Yes.
And have them, I mean, I've done a lot of properties in my life flipping, but this is really good, cool stuff, and it's practical. It's it's resourceful. It's not like, I mean, I can tell you right now, if anybody's done a bathroom recently, I tell you it'll take you a lot more than $3,200 to get a nice shower like that. What these contractors are charging, I'm telling you guys. So just keep that in mind. There's more to come. So go ahead, Brooke. Go ahead and continue.
Okay, so here, these are just a couple of examples of those wow moments I was telling you earlier. This was a very narrow, skinny space. It didn't make sense as a bedroom. It was on the first floor, and the only other full bathroom on the first floor was actually in the first floor primary. So this really needed to be either a playroom or an office for practicality's sake. And so I got custom built-ins priced, and there was just no way. It was thousands of dollars. So again, I went back to Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. I found this set of shelves for $25 and then installed it with a panel, this wasn't fluted, it was like a wainscot type panel, and had my carpenter build in these shelves. We painted it all the same color and added some baseboard to give it the appearance of built-ins without it actually being the same price as built-ins. This was a laundry room back here, and we were really lacking storage. It was there was no arch or anything like that, and I needed to add storage. This house was the one that I sold in December when the market was a little bit stale and slower, and so I really needed the wow factor. So I had my carpenter arch this in order to give it a wow, and then we added a glass door right here to the back deck, which really made a big difference. This was the showstopper. As I mentioned earlier, the last couple of houses I have done for sale by owner, and so I've gotten to be present for the actual open houses and the showings and stuff. And this was really a wow factor for people. And honestly, it only cost me a couple $100, so it wasn't a big deal. This right here is actually the backsplash for my countertop. I needed a special material to make the shelves out of. So instead of having my countertop guy install the splash, I left it open so that they could install a oh my gosh, why am I can't believe I can't think of the word. Sorry?
Open shelf?
Yeah, but they backsplash, that's the word. Sorry. So I left it open so that they could install their own backsplash, but added these open shelves instead of upper cabinetry. But they didn't feel like I cheaped out because I used the stone that was on the countertop and just had them cut that stone in half to make the shelves. So that's what that is. All right, I'm going to jump you into a few before and afters, and then we're going to get into the real estate stuff. So this is an example of me using that trick I was telling you about with the ceiling joist. On this one, instead of putting the drywall on the joists themselves, we just slid it on top of the roof rafters and then stained the roof rafters. And then we added these little blocking in between each rafter. but you can see the ceiling was really low. It was barely the height for code, and it just kind of, excuse my language, but it looked like dirt or shit. I don't know if we're allowed to sorry. I tried not to, I couldn't help it. But so this is the, so we went, this is the exact same room. All we did was paint the walls, raise the drywall up, and then we put flooring down where the carpet had been prior. Everything else about the room has stayed the same. So that's that change. All
Hey,
right.
Brooke,
Yes.
on the, so if clearly on the left, it looks like a much lower ceiling. Obviously on the right, it's I'm sure the ceiling was raised, but I think the combination of laying out the wood grain long ways, right? Going from the length of the room
Yep.
and then doing what you did with the ceiling, it created the illusion, that's much, I mean, it just looks like a much bigger, taller room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it
Yeah.
is taller because we put the drywall, instead of attaching it to the
Mhm.
bottom of the roof rafters, we slid it onto the top, and then we just left the last bay open, blew insulation in from the very last bay, and then just installed that very last bay after everything was insulated. So yeah, it's not that difference, but that's a really good point about setting the floors. You don't, it's a feng shui principle. You don't want to walk into a space that your body is supposed to move through and hit a bunch of lines going side to side. That is an energy killer. It makes you feel unwelcome. It's just one of the principles of design that really does make a big difference. So something to pay attention to. And I know sometimes like you have L shapes and you have to choose one or the other. And I'll always say whatever's going to feel most welcoming as you walk through the space and move through the space, you want it to flow with your energy. So however you would cross the space is the direction that you want the floors to go, if you get a choice. Now, sometimes you just have to, with these old historic houses in Richmond, Virginia and stuff, like you have to keep it one way or the other because of the way that the floor joists are and stuff. But overall, you do want it to flow with the same energy as you move through the space. So yeah.
Did you take any classes in this? Or did you just kind of learn on the fly, like through your own remodeling and your own flipping? And
Yeah,
wow.
this is just from me doing it. I never took any classes. In fact, for the first probably 5 or 6 years, I didn't even know how to draw. So I would draw on my little graph paper and like turn it into the building permit people to try and get my permits and stuff. So since then I have learned how to draw, but that was just, you know, using easy, which by the way, there's an app that I use that's really easy for you guys and probably your clients to use too. It's called Magic Plan, and you can do up to 5 different plans for free. So it's a great thing if you want to play with layouts or move things around. I highly recommend using the app. I have no affiliation to it. It's just how I learned to do layouts, how to draw them quickly and easily and move things around. So I highly recommend that.
You said that was Magic Plan?
Yes, it's called Magic Plan. You can download it. And the trick that I use for that, so you only get up to 5 free plans, but you have like up to 200 floors per plan. So for each property, I just duplicate the floor, and you know, a single story house will have 70 floors by the time I'm done. But you can just keep adding more and more floors to play with the whole house and add more plans. So, and it's super easy to use. I would say the learning curve, it probably took me about 2 hours to fully like be able to draw almost anything as far as layouts go and figure out how to use it. It's really not hard, and it's pretty intuitive, and it being free, it's a great tool to play with layouts and stuff like that. And it does let you do like kind of renderings and elevations, not colored, just black and white, but you can tell and spin the room around and look at it from different angles and stuff. It's not just the floor plan itself.
Can you put the name of that in the chat?
Sure.
Please.
Yeah. Here we go.
You guys liking this stuff, man? Can you do like
I
a
love
hand
it.
raise or a, yeah,
She's
I
awesome.
agree.
Awesome.
You asked
I
the
mean, this,
question that I was going to ask is how she
Love
learned
it.
it.
We
And
love
the
it.
fact that she is trial and error. I've done some remodel. This is fantastic, though. It really does look like custom. This
Nice.
is
well,
Yeah.
well, the thing is, I mean, you could,
imagination.
this, this is me speaking to you as your team leader, but guys, if you're out there trying to get listings or work with buyers to buy properties, you have an instant response when somebody says, "My gosh, what would it take to redo this house? Look at that old kitchen, that old attic room she showed before." You could whip this out on your phone and say, "Here's an example of what's possible. Would you like to meet Brooke?" You know, I mean,
Absolutely. So
you use this in your, I'm telling you, in your approach to clients, use this to get them to work with you because Brooke isn't on your team. I mean, I'm not like legally on your team, but you know what I mean.
Oh no, I'm on your team.
There you go. Yay.
awesome. So Brooke,
Yes.
you're taking the project from start to finish. You buy the property and then you list it. And after you do all the renovations and upgrades, what is your, like, how long do you have, well, I have so many questions. First, do you have like a warehouse where you're putting all these additional materials that you're sourcing for? Because if you don't, then how much time is that going to add to your timeline of holding the property to source the best material for the property to sell at the best price? And another question is that could be all together. Do you have a construction team dedicated to you available at the ready?
Hi, I just want to take a moment to thank you for watching a recording of the Monday Night Live class. Hope you're getting a lot out of it. I'm sure you will. I wanted to let you know that, you can come to Monday Night Live whenever you want, but you can also participate more with the team. Why don't you set up a call with me, a one-on-one strategy call? I can go over everything with you, show you everything that we have to offer. For example, did you know that on our team, not only do you get your leads, we actually give you your own account on our lead gen system. So this puts you in control. You're not waiting on somebody to hand you leads. You get to pick the ones you want. Okay. Huge difference. We have 21 of our own proprietary marketing campaigns. They're all copyright protected. We're the only ones that can use them. Okay. The coaching is absolutely one-on-one. We got 3 coaches. We even have a 4th success coach that we have access to. Okay. One of left fewer than 100 in the world. Okay. One-on-one coaching. Right now the big problem is volume. We need more transactions. We need more inventory. I get it. Well, we know how to get it. Our team actually outproduces the national average by more than 2 to 1. So if you're struggling, don't do that anymore. If you're a solo agent, if you're a team, let's just talk. Smart entrepreneurs are always open to discussion. Learn what we have to offer, and then you can make an informed decision about staying where you are or moving on. You've got to decide, if you're not where you want to be, you've got to take action to get where you want to be. Let's see how we can help you do that. I look forward to talking to you. Click on the link, set up a call. And by the way, I'll see you on the next Monday Night Live.
No, so I definitely do not have a construction team. I do have different contractors that I've formed relationships with over the years. And I have so I probably have 3 plumbers in my phone, probably about 5 electricians. They tend to be a little bit busier. I have a few carpenters and stuff like that. But no, I typically GC the projects myself. And as far as the materials, the second I get the house under contract, I get to work on design. I can't believe how many people waste that opportunity of that extra 3 or 4 weeks of waiting for it to close when they can be figuring out their floor plans, picking their materials, getting everything ready. But no, I order everything on demand. I don't typically have somewhere to store it, but I will tell you guys, one of the tricks that I use when I need to refinish hardwoods and there's furniture in the house, I'll rent a U-Haul that is by the mile. Like, how you can either rent it by the day or rent it by the mile. I'll rent it by the mile, park it in front of the house, load everything into the U-Haul, let it sit there while I'm getting the floors refinished, and then unload it back in. And it ends up costing me about $27, $30, depending on how far it is from the U-Haul store for an entire, 5 4 or 5 day refinishing of the floor process.
Wow,
So
that is brilliant. That's a brilliant hack right there.
It- it's most ingenuity is the result of
Necessity.
yes, thank you. So that came from me trying to figure out what the heck to do when I had no storage on this one flip and I had to figure it out. And it was during COVID, so everything was harder. And yeah, so that's where that came from. But
Wow. You must pay top dollar to your tradespeople, because to respond to you right away.
No, I just I try and keep them busy, and I try and be really good about being a referral source to them. So I'll always tell them, I'll say, oh, I'm sending you to this friend or this person asked, but can you please make sure I'm gonna be buying a house in August? Like I over communicate with them about what's coming down the path and make sure that they're available to me. And then I always make sure that I have several people, you know, to call. I don't ever stick to just one tradesperson. I've had too many issues with either them getting injured or, you know, something going wrong. I had one guy where I literally gave him my deposit for him to go pick up the hardwood flooring from the flooring store. He got pulled over on his way to the flooring store, and I didn't know it at the time, but he was driving without a license. So he was on a suspended. So then he had to go serve time in jail, and I had just given him my deposit. So it was a dicey situation, but so I never will only have one person for one trade, and I just cycle through them to make sure that I'm keeping them busy and keeping them active with me. So they believe, I don't know if they know that they're not getting all of my work, but I think I probably give them enough work. And that's one of the nice things too. It's not all from just my renovating, being in design. I also give them lots of referrals through that. So it's probably a little leg up being in the design world versus just flipping the houses. So, all right.
Cool.
So,
what's
yeah,
your
go ahead.
radius? What's
Sorry?
your radius? 3,500 miles?
Oh, well, so for designing, when I get to my website stuff, you'll see it's actually nationwide. But in Richmond, I only will flip houses and invest in real estate typically in the Richmond area. To me, I like to be on site. I like to really see the house and feel the house and understand the neighborhood and the neighbors and all of that. So I don't flip houses across the nation, but I do design across the nation.
Is that Richmond, Virginia?
Yes, it is.
Good.
Yep.
I'm about 2 hours away.
Oh, nice. Where are you?
I'm in
Well, Netta
northern-
wins again.
Hey, I'm always winning. I'm in Northern Virginia, in Fairfax.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So, if you guys are okay, I'll keep rolling on here and feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. So one of the tricks that I use when I'm getting ready to list a property is I will actually collaborate with local artists. And this is such a game changer, for the staging, but the main thing it does for me is it gives me marketing to people who can afford to have their own art collection, if that makes sense. So what I'll do is I'll make a trade with the artist that if they let me use their art to stage my house, I give them the professional photos for them to use on their Etsy stores or wherever they're marketing. And then also I promise to tag them in all of my online posts about the house. Well, by tagging them on all of my posts, that makes it so that all of their followers see my house. So it kind of goes around and helps me get exposure with them feeling like I'm doing them a favor. And so I do this time and time again whenever I'm getting ready to stage a house. A lot of times, if I have the time, I will find a local artist who's willing to work with me. And this is something that you guys can do on your end too. Because once you have 4 or 5 local artists, they'll just do it. They know it's easy. You get them, you'd sign a contract and make sure that they're covered on the insurance. It's a real quick call to your insurance agent. Usually costs like $12 to $17 for a month or whatever. But for the rider, so this will give you a more upscale feeling house. and then also expose you to people who are in the tax bracket that actually follow these artists and buy original art versus, you know, heading up to Marshall's or Target or whatever to buy something off the shelf. So that's one thing that I've done. Well, not one time, I think it's been 3 times now. I've actually not wanted to pay for the stager, and I knew I was going to take a break between my that house and the next one. So I knew I had a little extra time to kind of get the house ready. And several times I've done a concept called the shop at home. And what this is, I will collaborate with local furniture makers and artists and small wares companies in my local town and get them to basically bring all their stuff to the house to stage their house with. And then we'll do a 3-day open house where we actually have like a cocktail party on Friday night, like a reception type thing. We invite all the people in our crew, and then we'll do open house Saturday and Sunday, and everything in the house is for sale. And that's always a huge hit. A lot of times we get write-ups in the local newspaper. It brings out looky-loos. The last time I did this was actually right at the end of COVID. It was right after the lockdown loosened, and I was already under contract before my event even happened, but at the event I got a $30,000 over the contract that I already had offer. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't accept it because I couldn't get the other people to break the dang contract. But it did allow me to, they were being jerks about the inspection stuff. And it allowed me to be like, no, I'm not changing anything, you know, and they had to decide whether or not to, typically I'll fix just, you know, out of integrity, I'll fix things that should be correct and weren't correct when the inspector comes through. But on this one, the other realtor was being such a jerk, and I had this backup offer for $30,000 more. So I basically told them to shove it, and I ended up not being able to close with the $30,000 over offer, but I was able to actually not have to make any repairs or deal with the inspection stuff at all. So then the other thing I always do on my real estate investing houses is I always stage. It doesn't matter how good workmanship is within the house, there's always going to be flaws. And when people walk through a vacant house, that's what they see is the flaws. When you stage, you can make a really crappy house feel really nice just by putting nice furniture in it. Staging is not the place, in my opinion, to skimp. I will skimp on the renovation materials before I'll skimp on the staging materials. And that's because A, you get to take the stuff with you and get it back out of the house. And then B, it just makes the whole house feel so much nicer. If you have nice materials, nice furniture, you can find it so easily on Facebook Marketplace, or just align yourself with a really good stager in your area. It really does make the difference, in my opinion, especially if you're in a competitive market. And right now, with the buyer's market, the flip to the buyer's market that it seems is happening right now, that I really do think that putting a little extra into your staging is going to be worth it. Okay, so that was, there we go. So that was the majority of my presentation. Before I take you over to my website, I know we're running out of time. Does anyone have any questions before I jump you over there? No? Okay.
How do we formalize our partnership? I'm in Massachusetts.
Well,
that's why I asked some other radios.
Let me show you how you can do this. So my website is www.designs-delivered.com. Oops, I'm spelling it wrong. And so basically, like I was telling you all before, I, having worked with several real estate investors, I realized that there was a big hole in the market. I was charging them anywhere between $12,000 to $15,000, depending on the house, to pick their finishes and their fixtures and help them with layout and stuff like that. And it just wasn't sustainable, especially as tight as investing has been over the last couple of years with property values skyrocketing and everyone thinking that their house is worth $1 million. Like there's just not as big margins. And I hate taking money from people. It's one of my biggest flaws. So I decided that I was going to change this relationship from one-to-one interior designer to client and basically pre-design a bunch of spaces. So these right now we're just with bathrooms. We will be expanding into kitchens and living room spaces and lighting packages, all types of different rooms. But right now you'll only see bathrooms. We're in beta for Airbnb staging and kitchens right now. But if you come in here, basically, if you want to look for bathroom inspo, what you can do is you start out by clicking this shop design and then come down here, choose what vanity size the bathroom needs. So let's just say it's up to 29 for this one. And then you're going to scroll down and there's several different bathrooms kind of pre-sourced with budget in mind. So this is basically like going to Pinterest, but the difference is if you click on the button for that bathroom and you scroll down, you can actually shop directly from the website. So you're not shopping from me, but you can go directly to the website and buy the item just like that. So these designs are already done, and we've gone so far as to pick like your Schluter sizes and your grout colors and stuff like that, all those tedious items. So if your client, you're trying to help them, they want to redesign a bathroom or a kitchen, or they need new light fixtures or paint colors, stuff like that, we've basically put together a bunch of different designs that are supposed to be like, no matter what type of house you're doing, you're supposed to be able to find something that works for your style house. So we have all these different designs. You can mix and match. So you can just buy individual items like a vanity or a light fixture. You can buy them one by one, or you can order the whole thing. And this all creates a bathroom that you can install, have it shipped directly to the job site, and just get the contractor to install it. But it's fully designed and basically ready to go. We've done all the hard work of, and then the paint colors over here are all suggested paint colors that work with this bathroom. So, so that's the long and short of how the website works. But then we're also going a step further. We're in the process of developing a software where you can log into the software and design your own space. It'll basically walk you through kind of like a choose your own adventure book. I don't know if any of you guys read those as a kid, but it's like, if you want to go into the cave, go to page 36. So this is a choose your own adventure experience, this software, where you'll be able to log in and build a whole bathroom, a whole kitchen, a living room suite, but with our guidance. So it's a combination of software and AI, and we are training the AI as to combinations that we approve, rules of design, stuff like that. So it's like bowling with bumpers, where you can design a whole room and you won't go wrong if you use our software, because it will only present to you options that work well with the other selections you've already made. So if you're starting with a vanity, it's only going to present tile that works well with that vanity, or wallpapers that work well with the colors, or shapes that are cohesive together and stuff like that. Eventually, with our software, you'll be able to build an entire house or design an entire house using our software that is all cohesive, and everything it chooses will be based on other selections you've made and that this house is looking like. So you won't end up with one random room that doesn't work with the others and stuff like that. It'll pay attention to what metal finishes you have already chosen and paint colors, and guide you through the process of designing everything. However, while we're working on that software, we're doing all that manually. So that's the really cool part, is that you can just buy 2 hours at a time. I'm so sorry. My dog knows how to open doors, and he just let himself in from the from the
That's right.
outside. So if I look distracted, that was because my dog decided it was time to come in. So basically, while we're developing this software right now, you can buy our time at 2 hours at a time. It's $250, and we can help you design the whole room that you want to do. So it's $250 basically a room, or for 2 hours. It usually won't take a full 2 hours, but we can help you design a whole kitchen. We can help you pick out if it's an Airbnb, or your client needs to upgrade some stuff in order to sell, or they're buying a new house and you want to refer our services. They're like, I'm going to buy all new furniture. We can help them through the whole process. And our goal is to just make it really streamlined, fast, inexpensive. We always do it with budget in mind. And we can just kind of work our way through it. Sorry, now my husband's trying to fix the dog situation. Just call him. It's okay. All right. Sorry. So you can basically, it's all done via like Zoom meetings and stuff like that, where we'll walk them through the process of designing their own bathroom or kitchen, or whatever space it is that they want to design, paint palette, asking layout questions. A lot of people call us with their architects or engineers layouts, and they're just terrible, and we have to help them rework them. So we do a lot of that type of consulting. It's like an interior designer light type service, where you're not buying the full shebang, but we'll help you get unstuck or move your project forward. So, questions?
I have a question. What did you want to be as a little girl?
Yeah, I still don't know.
You grow up to get into this. I mean, this is amazing. This
Oh,
is
thank
phenomenal.
you.
It's absolutely beautiful and creative. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
So my real question is, you mentioned that you could order the equipment directly from the stores. Are these stores with national chains?
Yes. So it's
Home
mostly
Depot
like,
or
it's like Floor and Decor, Home Depot, Lowe's, Wayfair. It's all Bed Bath and Beyond. It's all
Perfect.
chains that are available across the country, and that people already have relationships with and a trust factor with. And once our software is released, you'll also be able to just filter by the stores that you want to use. So if somebody's had a bad experience with like Wayfair or something like that, they can say, I don't want to buy anything from Wayfair, and it won't present them any options from those stores that they don't want to buy from.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yes.
This is phenomenal. I mean,
Oh, good.
it's beautiful. And you found a way to make it sounds like reasonably financially reasonable, because other kind of design would just break the bank. That's what
Yeah. So
I
that's one of the things that's really cool is let me see if the prices are up right now. We've been toggling the prices on and off because we've been having a few issues with our software lately. But on a lot of these, you can actually see the price of the bathroom, a full bathroom. It's based on 8x5. Let's just pop in the Kenzie and see if that one. So it gives you an idea of the price. And I'm sorry, I'm choosing the bad ones. A lot of these bathrooms range anywhere from $1,400 to about $4,000 for the materials for the whole bathroom. And that's based on an 8x5 bathroom. Obviously, it's going to expand and shrink just a little bit, depending on whether the shower is bigger or the floors and stuff like that. But we also deal with tub surrounds. It's all different price levels. We haven't even like brought in more luxury stuff yet. We've really just been focusing on real estate investors and people on smaller budgets, but eventually we'll also have more luxury combinations as well. We do have some that have marble in them. Those are more in the like $4,000 or $5,000 range for the ones that have the higher end finishes, but the majority of them really are affordable, and they're just nice combinations. But so that's the goal, at least.
Very nice.
Thank you.
what some of the
So,
future plans are for the business, offerings and so forth.
So right now we're in beta test. If anyone knows of anyone who's trying to renovate a kitchen or needs to decorate, we're doing full houses right now for Airbnbs. We have several different clients. Actually, last week we shipped out 3 different house loads worth of things. And the really cool thing is that we're not buying these items for you. If we're just sending you a list of the links. So you can buy them as you want them, buy them as you need them. You're not under our control. We're just helping you source, and then we'll provide you with the links, and you can buy what you want to buy. Don't buy what you don't want, but you can time it all as your construction project needs it, whether or not you have storage and stuff like that. So our future goals are, right now we're doing the bathrooms full-fledged. We're currently developing our software. We should have our first iteration done in about 2 or 3 weeks of the software. At that point, we'll be looking for beta testers for that. Right now, my team is beta testing the kitchen design stuff. So we'll flat pack. We can actually sell the cabinets themselves and ship them directly to the client for the contractor to assemble and install. So we're doing kitchens as well, but nobody's required to use anything. So like let's say you buy a house and you've already chosen your kitchen cabinets, you found a really great pair at Lowe's, that's just what you're using, not a problem. You just can buy all the other combinations that go with those cabinets from us and stuff like that. So you can kind of mix and match and pick and choose. And then same with like tub surrounds. If you buy a house that already has a nice tub surround, you don't plan on improving it because it's a rental or something like that, you can always just focus on the vanity area that works with the tub surround and stuff like that. So we're doing kitchens, bathrooms, and then working on the whole house decor for Airbnb or people who are on smaller budgets but need, a whole room all at once, living rooms, bedrooms, down to the bedding and decor and artwork and all that.
Okay.
So go ahead.
I'm just trying to think here creatively outside the box. So like some of the slides you had, the before and after, particularly the bathroom and with it was up in the attic, not attic, that and the picture.
Yeah.
Can these guys have access to that to show? I mean, I want them to have like that powerful impact imagery when they're meeting with their clients to say, look, you know, you know, whatever, we've been in the business collectively, but everybody in this room here, probably several hundred years. Between us, we've seen all kinds of things. Here's an example of what's possible. And by the way, Brooke can either do the design for you or you can do it yourself with Brooke's guidance anywhere in the country. I mean, something like that, Brooke. I want to make sure it's compliant with you and your business.
Yes.
And what you'd like to accomplish and win-win for everybody,
Absolutely. So there's a couple different things we can do. One is I can send you my presentation from tonight, if that would be helpful. The other thing is people can go to my actual interior design business website, and that is Savvy by Design Co. So it's on Instagram, sorry. So my interior design website is savvybydesign.co. And then my Instagram is Savvy by Design Co. And Instagram's going to be the best place to show them our past work and some of the cool like before and afters and stuff. My website itself, we've been so busy it's been 7 years now that we've been doing this. We've been so busy, I haven't really spent the time on the interior design business, getting that website going because we've never needed to. So that's a little bit of a weak website. But my Instagram for that is Savvy by Design Co. And that's SAVVYBYDESIGN Co. And that is the best place to like give them a quick glance at all of our past work and what we do.
Okay. Well, there's
Already
more.
bookmark.
Nice. That's awesome.
Well, the other thing too is, everybody here right now, for the most part, whether we have agents on from different brokerages and different parts of the U.S. and Canada, and even investors on, but a lot of us are are part of one brokerage, EXP,
Right.
and because it's an organizational structure, not a franchise structure, it's a lot easier for someone like me or Andre's on to really help get you in front of people. So I think
That's
having to do
awesome.
like a lunch and learn for like we have a group called the Honey Badger Group. That's what we're all in. We're honey badgers, and they have these Facebook Live sessions that they do, and I think this would be an awesome, I mean, a no-brainer to put in front of those people. But we could talk further about that future. I just want to, I'm a growth-minded person, and I see a lot of potential and growth. Right, I mean, I've seen other programs, but not like this. This is a whole new level. Would you guys agree? This is definitely a generation ahead of other things that we've seen out there over the years. So,
That's
and I'm
awesome.
gonna add some sugar to the pie here, guys. Is some of the most successful agents I've seen over all the years were able they were able to see a property not just for what it is right now, but what it could be, right? And clearly Brooke has done that and made a business out of it. I'm not saying you should make a business. What I'm saying is, you know, leverage what Brooke has done for you to help people with their home selling and buying, getting houses ready, and of course the flippers. Because when you do, you've got a not only a lifetime relationship with those people, they're going to refer you to their families, friends, and neighbors and relatives and coworkers and stuff like that. Because I can guarantee you that you know, these this capability and these prices, they're not getting that out there right now. I mean, you go to remodel a bathroom right now, it's going to be a whole lot more than a few $1,000s. You're talking like 15,000 just to basic stuff. Kitchens,
Mhm.
40,000 now or more. This is a huge benefit if you guys can how many of you kind of getting this vision that I'm talking about here?
Yep,
Using
I
this,
like it.
leveraging this. Absolutely. So,
Still have to add the construction cost, but yeah.
mhm.
But I can tell you the contractors that we worked with on this have absolutely loved it because we make sure that they have every piece that they need. Like the shopping list comes with all of the pieces. And so they're not going to forget their Schluter trim or their caulk or, the different things. We make sure that the pieces are compatible. Like how many times has a contractor shown up and the person has a one hole faucet, but the vanity requires a 3-hole faucet. There's things like that we really ease this for the contractors as well. And they don't want to be designers. The contractors don't want the clients that are going to be like, oh, I don't know, just pick whatever floor tile you think looks good. Like that's not what they're there to do. So the few contractors that we've talked to that we've worked with on this have absolutely loved it. And they also love it because if they run out of stuff, they know how to reach us and we can just get them the link quickly and easily and move the project forward. If there's damages, we're dealing with it. If we've ordered it for them, like we're kind of like a design assistant and it does speed the contractors along quite a bit, I believe.
I'm sure it does.
So
Yeah.
this is our QR code right here on the screen. If anyone, wants to save our website or whatever, feel free to use that QR code. And then I'll scroll back to, I believe my contact info, I hope it's on the first page. I think it is. Is it? Of course it's not. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I'll put it in the chat right now. I've edited this presentation a few times and it looks like it got dropped off at some point, but I'm gonna put my cell phone number on here as well as my email so y'all can reach out to me. Actually, I'll give you the designs.
804-332-0428.
Yep. And then I'll do. There you go.
Hey, Brooke, there are some, we got so excited. We haven't even been looking at the questions. So, going back to the 7:15 mark, Mike McGran, How are you vetting, selecting contractors? Or are you using a general contractor to handle all the rehab? Do you use checklist? There's a couple of questions there.
So I GC the projects myself typically. I've only done probably 2 or 3 where I've hired a GC, and those were my first couple where I needed to learn how construction works. But GCing yourself really does help. There aren't necessarily checklists that I use for managing the contractors, but for the materials, absolutely. Like I have a list of everything that needs to go, because if I don't write it all down and refer back to my list, then A, I don't have a budget, because that's something I always do, is budget everything in the beginning, and then B, I'll inevitably forget something because things always go wrong or change, and it can get crazy.
Yep. Wow. Okay. So bathrooms, currently kitchens in
Yep.
basically in beta. And then what about, like, let's just take the bathroom for example. It's literally like floor to ceiling, wall to wall. I mean, it includes the, flooring, wall
Mhm.
coverings. What about lighting and switch
Yep.
plates and all those little things,
It doesn't do, we don't do switch plates or any of those details that you would use throughout the house. So no, like doorknobs or switch plates or anything that you want to keep consistent throughout the house just yet. But we do have everything else that you need, including like anything decorative is what I'll say. So including grouts, we have ceiling lights, we have wall sconces, tile, thin set, mirrors. I mean, all types of things, P-traps, if you have an exposed P-trap. We try and cover anything you could possibly use. And then we also have multiple paint colors to choose from that work with these, depending on if you want light or you want dark and stuff like that.
Okay.
That's great. You've mentioned a couple of prices for like a bathroom set. Is that a price like your wholesale level, or is that retail price that you were quoting
That's
us?
retail. So our cheapest full bathroom is about $1,400 retail for all of the pieces. And we're not setting the prices. Like these prices are all set by Lowe's, Home Depot, Bed Bath and Beyond, stuff like that. But we are designing with price, like as if I'm flipping a house. I always design with price first, and I start with the price and the reviews, and then try and find the best value I can for what I'm trying to do. So I'll always sort the faucet lowest to highest, and then go until I find the right one that has 4 or 5 stars and is the right price. So I always start with price first because I'm designing with budget in mind.
Cool.
When our software is done, you'll actually be able to start the whole process by putting in your total budget. And so you can put, let's say your budget's 5,000, you put $5,000 in, and it will only present you with options that fit within that budget. So as you make your selections, it's a dynamic budgeting tool that will drive you through. And if you chose really expensive on your vanity, but you had a smaller budget, then it's probably going to suggest that you do it with like a shower pan instead of tiled floor in the shower and stuff. So it's going to drive you through the process just like an interior designer would, with budget primarily in mind, and not let you fall in love with something that's several $1,000s more than what's in your budget and stuff like that.
Right. So if you don't mind me asking you, can you walk us through your process on deciding a budget for a particular project? Do you go by like some kind of market research to see what kind of properties are selling, and then you say, what is my margin that's going to be, what is my profit that I'm looking for, and then how do you set your budget?
So I actually keep an Excel spreadsheet. Every time I do another property, I will keep a list of all of the different bids that I got and how much the different things cost me, so that when I'm buying a new property, I can look back at the different properties I've done and say, oh, this one's about the same size, or, it's the same, similar layout, stuff like that. So I'm going to budget X amount based on what I did on this other property that was similar. So for every property that I do, I track that information. And now with GPT, I mean, it's a different world, the information that you can figure out. But so I basically just do it on past experience, but I do have certain like lines. I would never pay more than $8 a square foot on tile for an investment property and things like that. So I have certain thresholds that I won't cross, but every once in a while, the tile matters a little more because the roof is slanted and you need that coolness and, so it really is a little bit subjective. You got to like look at it with that type of eye. But the thing that's cool about what we've done here, none of our designs can you really go wrong with. Like, we've made them as universal as possible but still with personality, not white subway with black hex floors. We're trying to give them personality, and we also are trying to do like coordinating patterns. So wallpapers are really in right now. Some of these patterns are available in shower curtains if it's a rental and stuff like that. So we try and kind of give you ideas, and not all of this needs to be in the bathroom either. That's one thing that's cool in working with clients, is they're like, well, I would never do wallpaper in the bathroom, but I might do it behind the headboard. And I'm like, cool. Well, if you choose this bathroom, we've already got your wallpaper for your bedroom right here. And then here's your bedroom ceiling light, because you don't need one in the bathroom and stuff. So we really try and make it very fluid to be whatever they need it to be, and very interchangeable. They could easily swap this for a floor plan, or if there's a tub, things like that. So we try and really hit all of the boxes, make it as streamlined and easy as possible.
Awesome. So if I was starting to in my flipping career, you would suggest that I start using a GPT to figure out some prices or budgets. Okay.
Absolutely. A lot of times I'll say too, I'll be like, I have more so with client work, because they typically set their own budgets, but I'll say I have $12,000 to spend on a 10 by 24 foot bathroom. They want a soaking tub, a stand-up shower, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll have it tell me what my budget needs to be for each item, and kind of give me a ballpark of how to make that work. So it'll tell me, if I'll say there's 40 square feet on the shower floor, and I'll give it all the information, and then it'll write up my budget for me. And I know if I stay close to that budget, I'll be dang close to the goal in the end after all. Gosh, I think we said there was like 33 selections and just decorative and one single half bath. So it's a lot of pieces to fit together. And if you're not used to doing it within a certain budget, it can be really time consuming just figuring out what you can even spend on each of the individual items.
Cool. And of course, the GPT would account for your geographic location.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And it'll do analyses and stuff now too. You can, the other day I was helping a friend, and I was showing them how to do the lot lines in Zillow to figure out comps and stuff. And she was like, well, why don't I just ask ChatGPT? And she did. And oh my gosh, it did. It pulled up her comps for her and did all that work for her. So it's pretty cool.
Oh my God. There goes our careers in real estate.
No, if you do it right, so the things that ChatGPT can't do, like Gary was saying earlier, it can't bring you the referrals, it can't bring you the relationships, it can't bring you that general, like those nuggets of advice that you can drop in working with them. It's still a machine, and that's where you guys can really shine. Yeah, you can find lots of information on ChatGPT, but figuring out how to decipher it, what's right for what scenario. I mean, it still requires a lot of human, interaction and filtering and stuff like that. You have to understand the neighborhood. There's more to real estate than just, that one house. There's so many different factors that y'all have to consider. There's no way GPT can do that right now.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brooke.
Of
This has been
course.
fantastic.
Thank you guys. Thank you for letting me present.
I'm glad to do it. There was a question, it looks, I don't see it now, is, I think it was Cheech were asking about if there you have like an affiliate program, I don't know if you've thought about that or seen that before, but,
You mean,
um,
well, tell me more, like an affiliate program for people who refer us to other people?
yeah, you could, yeah, well, it can go even deeper.
Oh,
I think that question, Gary, said that they were looking to see if you possibly, like your site is out here, if somebody comes in and they shop off the site and go to these certain vendors that you have items selected, would you get a percentage back from that?
so yeah,
That
so
kind of referral.
we did try to go that direction. That was the plan with our shop it links down here. Unfortunately, we only get cost per click. None of the affiliate marketing sites like that we are so streamlined and that you can just shop all the items. They want everything to be in blog content. So no, we unfortunately are not getting paid on people shopping through these links. However, once our new software is linked up, then we'll actually have direct integrations with companies like Bed Bath and Beyond and Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff like that. So we'll have negotiated rates with them where when you buy through our links, we'll get like a commission from them. But right now, no, the only way that we're making money right now is by people who actually hire us to do the consulting and stuff like that. But that's okay. This is still a value add. And these are all like, it doesn't, that's not, we're not just doing this. I know that sounds corny or whatever, but we're not just doing this to make money. We really do believe that like design should be more accessible to more people. And we'll figure out how to make money. That's not the main concern right now. But no, we thought we could get affiliate marketing links or that we could get credit for these affiliate marketing links. And we get like 1 to 3 pennies per time that somebody clicks on a shop it link. So yeah, whenever y'all are in our site, please just click lots of shop it links.
Brooke,
Mhm.
it's Brittany. I think the question was more geared toward if we refer you, do you have some type of affiliate link or affiliate program where we could earn off of referring you?
Gotcha. So once the software is in place, yes, we will. Right now, when we do service clients, we're doing it at such an extreme discount. Our margins are so minimal as is that right now we don't have that. But as soon as this process is automated, we absolutely will. So please like stay in touch with us and don't write us off just because of that. Yes, once we get up and running and everything's automated and we can have our smaller margins, then absolutely.
How can we be in the inside loop to when you're fully automated so we can be in the leading edge?
So go to my website and sign up for our mailing list. I do not market just to market. The only time you'll receive an email from us is when we have an actual update. So you're not going to get a bunch of spam. We only send out emails to our mailing list if there's something to announce that they didn't already know. Like when our kitchens go live, you'll get an email telling you kitchens are live, but we won't send out like weekly emails or anything like that. It's just when something has changed. And same with the affiliate marketing. We will announce once we release the affiliate marketing program, we'll definitely be announcing that via that email list.
But Brooke, this has been I tried to go on this magicpam.com, but that said that domain is available. I mean,
I'm so sorry. It's not magicplan.com. It's an app that you download onto either your phone or your iPad. So you go to your app store and then search Magic Plan and download it from there.
is this something that can be downloaded on a desktop? I hate to use things on an app. They're too small. I can't see them. I mean, it's a
I totally understand. I have no idea. I know that when I had a Surface Pro computer, I could download it on there, but typically I use it on my tablet, so I'm not really sure.
okay.
Well, the website here is design-deliver.com, and then also the savvybydesign.co, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the, okay.
Yeah,
And
those
then,
are my websites. She was asking about the layout software. Bonetta was asking about the
oh, gotcha.
layout software that I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, I pulled it up on my computer, so it's www.magicplan.app.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any more questions, guys? It's about 20 after 8 here at Easter now. And I know Brooks, this was a big ask, but I tell you what, guys, um, this is one you want to, put a page marker on or a bookmarker so you can remember to use this, because when you're out there with people, I mean, it's one of the most common things you come across, and people see a house and they start thinking about the things they want to change. You've got an option here to show them that's professionally done and presented, and just it's pretty much done for you marketing, you know. So yep, and this appeals not just to flippers, but honestly, home buyers and sellers. When they're looking at their bathrooms that are 40 years old, they know they've got to deal with it, but they have a mental block because they think it's going to be too much time, energy, and money. And you can show them these examples before and after, right? And some of the price points. Um, it's going to help solidify that relationship between you and that client. And it's a value add. It helps you stand out above the crowd, you know. So okay. Well, if there's no questions,
Indeed.
yeah,
I just
we
said
can go ahead.
indeed. You're so correct, Gary.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Guys, next week, I'm going to be teaching, and the subject I'm going to teach is, well, I have written down here working with banks because we had a lot of people ask about working with banks. I'm going to do that. The next Monday, I'm going to teach you from one of my old mentors, Lester Cox is out in the Phoenix area, and he's sold, I mean, 15 years ago, he'd already sold over $5 billion in properties. And
Wow.
I have his complete game plan for maintaining contact with your sphere. And it's over and above just a simple market update. There's a lot more to it. Some of it, little things you have to pay for, some things are free. So that's on the 30th. That's another one you definitely want to invite people to. Okay. I mean, the guy's just a true master guru. Andre knows him, you know. So I don't know how old he is, but he was old when I first met him. Don't tell him I said that, by the way. They actually saw him like the other week in Canada. He was on Zoom. He actually looked pretty good. So um but stay tuned for that one. I've got a lot more content from that meeting that's going to take us in through July and August. Okay. And some of those people I'm going to invite to come teach. So in any case, hey, Brooke, thanks again for doing this.
Thank
Brittany,
you.
thanks for introducing us to Brooke. Um, I appreciate it. And I'll be in
Absolutely.
touch with you. Yeah, I'll be in touch with you too. And I'll talk to they're called a leadership group about getting you in front of their people. It's a much bigger group. I mean, we're a few hundred people. That group is probably 15, 16,000,
Wow.
all in. So yep. So in any case, I'm glad to do it. I love helping out fellow entrepreneurs. I know
Thank
what it's like out there, and Lord knows I definitely had help, you know.
you.
So
Well,
yep,
thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
you're very
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Gary,
Yes, ma'am.
you suggested that I come tonight to also invite people to my webinar tomorrow evening that
Yes. Thank you, Bonetta. Can you put that in the chat, Bonetta?
yeah, but I put registration and the link too close together. So that's supposed to be http:// theteacheragent.com.
There it is.
And
So
register
guys,
for it's a free webinar I'm hosting with my
Yep.
mortgage lender partner, and we're putting on a webinar for first-time home buyers.
yeah,
Did you put it in the chat, Benita? I don't see it.
Nada. Yes, it's in there.
oh, you know what? Hang on,
Did I
Benetta,
put
let
it on
me,
yours, Gary? You know what? I'm sorry,
yeah,
Gary.
we're just,
I put it on to you,
That-
to you, Gary. Hang on a second.
that's okay. I get,
Okay,
there it is.
now
I
I can
just put
see.
it in. So guys, if you could, give Benetta some love, but also I want you to go to participate, to learn and see and watch what Benetta's doing and how she's doing it. Remember, she's a trained teacher. She's a professional teacher. So I'm pretty sure she's going to put on a pretty good presentation. So I highly encourage you to not just show up to give her some support, but show up to learn how Bonetta is actually doing this. Okay. Um, for yourselves in your market. So in any case, thanks, Bonetta, for doing that. Thanks, Brooke. Thanks, Brittany, and thank everybody here. Thank all you guys for participating in class. I'll see you on the one-on-ones. It looks like this week is pretty well booked up. The first time that's happened in a long time. But you can schedule next week, 2 weeks out, you can schedule. Set up the one-on-ones. I mean, we're where we are in the marketplace right now. We're ramping up the coaching, not just me, but all across the board. One-on-ones are going to have a whole new meaning going forward. I mean, accountability, checklist, things like that, actual marching orders. So if you want more production, this is how we're going to do it. It's roll up your sleeves, guided training. These are the leaders are coming out into the field with you. Okay. Um, so I suggest you do the one-on-ones. It'll help you get production. Okay. This is what we did back in the last recession. And I'm telling you, it worked. Just good old fashioned blocking and tackling. So we'll see you guys here. I'll see you next Monday. Take care of yourselves. God bless you and all your loved ones. Have a great night.
Thank you for watching this episode of Monday Night Live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.